Donald Trump is looking forward to opening up secret prisons across the globe. Again, CIA prisons. This is according to Reuters. Trump may reinstate secret CIA black site prisons, according to U.S. officials. So he is going to order a review which could lead to the reinstatement of black sites, secret CIA prisons where torture and other obscene acts could occur without anyone at all being aware. Of course, these prisons were closed by Obama. Bush used them during his administration to hold prisoners and engage under the radar activities. And quite frankly, it is something that has gone on in America for a while. President Obama put, on paper, we did away with them, which I'm sure really did mean that some of them closed. I don't want to just always doubt everything President Obama told me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So the CIA black sites were located in Poland, Lithuania, Romania, Thailand, and Afghanistan. The document that is based on, there's a document that was released to the Washington Post. Sean Spicer, the press secretary for President Trump, said that the draft was not a White House document. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said that the Trump administration did not write the document that was leaked to the Washington Post. And he said, quote, "My understanding is that," this is Paul Ryan, "my understanding is that this was written by somebody who worked on the transition team before, who's not on the Trump administration. This is not a product of the administration." According to John McCain, he said, quote, "The president can sign whatever executive orders he likes, but the law is the law. We are not bringing back torture to the United States of America." And that's all well and good. But just as easily as we brought it in, and just as easily as President Obama signed it out, Donald Trump can bring it back. But more importantly, right, it's the intent. The intent to, signal to the world that we have a new cowboy in the White House. Ultimately, that's what he's trying to signal. Because, what tangible benefits can be derived from this that we're not currently getting? And there's, of course, the debate of whether or not you can actually get something out of torture, but the bigger question is not even a question. Here's where we are. We are in a place where Donald Trump is trying to deliver on every fleeting campaign promise that he ever gave. Even when it's based on erroneous information, erroneous data, and flat out lies. Donald Trump is trying in 100 days to at least signal to his base that he's going to do all of the terrible things that he promised them, that they jumped for joy and with glee and satisfaction to know that Donald Trump is going to bring back waterboarding because he thinks it's a good idea. Trump's order, his draft order, would authorize a review of interrogation techniques that U.S. officials could use on terrorism suspects. It would keep the detention center at the U.S. Naval Base at Guantanamo Bay open, and it would allow new prisoners to be sent there. According to Amnesty International, again, this is Reuters, they were quoted as saying, "This is an extremely disturbing and outrageous attempt to open the door again to systematic torture and secret detention. This is the Trump administration making good on its most worrisome comments through the campaign." Exactly the case. And Amnesty International gets it. I mean, at a certain point, you have to look at the psychology of this, right? I'm not a psychologist. I just pretend to be one on TV. But you have to look at the desire of a large and vocal group of Trump supporters who didn't vote for him for economic promises, who didn't vote for him because they hated Hillary Clinton so much, which they did, but that's not the primary thing. There is a large contingency in Donald Trump's support base, his base, that want the most nefarious version of America towards anyone that they do not approve of. And I was going to say anyone who's not American, but it doesn't stop at just you being American or not. It is, are you in the approved group of Americans? And that group of Donald Trump supporters, they are lined up ready, celebrating acts like this potential executive order, this potential policy from Donald Trump. It's merely fodder for them, because there's a group of Donald Trump supporters who just get off on treating people miserably. I never forget, I was at a Tea Party rally, Tea Party debate rather, down in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I presented that idea to them. And I said, I'm not going to call all of Donald Trump supporters racist, which I think is a gross overgeneralization. I like to deal in nuance. So I'm not going to call you guys in here racist, but I will. And this is what I told them. I said, I will say this. There are people who support Donald Trump who actually get pleasure out of him insulting people, pleasure out of him being racist or borderline racist or saying hateful things. They get a kick out of him, of the idea of him banning people or bringing back torture. And they get a kick out of, because to them, it's a game. And little did I know, the gentleman who was in the debate with me, sitting right next to me, I did not expect this, but he raised his hand. He said, yep, that's me. That's exactly what he wanted. And he used the example of when, and I'm not a fan of Elizabeth Warren, but he used the example of Elizabeth Warren. He said when Donald Trump called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, or a fake Pocahontas, that's when he knew that was his guy. That's when he knew he was going to vote for Donald Trump. And the reason it matters is because now this type of thinking is shaping policy. And this is what America's going to look like, because there's very little, if anything, that we can do to stop it. So we are getting ready to completely transform America, not back into what George W. Bush did, not taking any guilt or shame off of President Bush, but this is a move towards doing this for sport. Now, you could list all the nefarious reasons that they did it. The Dick Cheney wanted to profit off of it. They're all war criminals. Yes. But now we're getting into an era where this is like the, effing gladiators, where this is a sport to them, where the audience is getting pleasure out of the misery that Donald Trump can cause other people. This is a game. They are sadistic, and they deserve to be pushed back into the dregs of society. I'm sorry. Anyone who gets pleasure out of a policy like this, which is not going to enhance our security, it's not going to advance our interests. It is, in fact, going to undermine our interests, because we constantly get blowback from our actions overseas. We constantly get ramifications 5 or 10 years down the road, if not 5 or 10 months down the road, from the shit that we do. So it's not going to enhance our security. It's actually going to undermine our security. And we're doing it all for fucking sport. This is the kind of America that we're going to have for the next 4 years. And all I can say is all we can do is try to survive it and then undo it after we get rid of Donald Trump, if things are undoable at that point. But the first strike from Donald Trump is to let's bring back the secret bases, the secret prisons, rather, so that we can torture people. Why? Not because it's going to make us safer, not because it's going to enhance our security, it's going to undermine us. Why? But because his supporters enjoy that kind of shit, and they think it's fun and games. Ha ha, kiki.